Capital Dawn Saturday afternoon. I'm so excited to be joined in the studio by the one and only Jodie Harsh as we celebrate Pride Month all month long. Welcome, Jodie Harsh. How are you?
I'm so good. Great to be here.
Great to have you here. We're excited. We've asked you to pick 10 tracks, which we'll get into over the next couple of hours. How difficult was it for you to choose these 10 tracks? Because I personally hate that question because there's so many tunes.
There are so many tunes. It's difficult whittling down, to be honest. And you also have to think what makes a queer anthem. There are loads of songs that you could hear in a queer party or whatever all the time, but what really truly at its essence is a queer anthem. So I thought long and hard about that.
So Jodie, your first pick today is My House, absolute banger. 2021 you released that one, right?
Yeah, time has really flown. I had to put one of mine in, right?
Of course.
Had to be My House.
Yeah, we'll start with that. What's kind of the story behind this one? Why did you choose it?
I made it in lockdown when we were all at home, and I think I actually probably made it right in the middle of Pride Month, and then it came out a few months later. Actually.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I feel like it's a very universal song, and it's everybody's welcome in my house is really the message that I constantly strive to put out there, and it's just a happy, carefree, sing along banger that is about everyone being welcome, and everyone being themselves.
Yeah, really resonates. Your second pick today, an absolute banger, Eats Everything on the remix of Jessie Ware, Free Yourself. This is a Jodie Harsh DJ set staple, right?
Oh, I play this all the time. I'm obsessed.
Why have you chosen it? Tell us the story.
Well, Jessie is really like gay icon, diva extraordinaire. And I mean, the song's name says it all, Free Yourself. It's just about everybody being free to be themselves. And that is obviously what Pride is all about. And also the fact that this is the Eats Everything remix. I mean, Eats loves a queer party. He's DJ'd at Feel It. He DJs at He, She, They. He loves a queer party.
He's the best.
He's the best. He's the most fun. So I thought this has to be on there.
Jodie, your third pick is CNC Music Factory, A Deeper Love. This is from 92, right?
Yeah, is that when it was? Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, Aretha Franklin, what a vocal.
Exactly.
She's literally bellowing pride. A Deeper Love does what it says on the tin.
Exactly.
I remember playing this in the toilets at Glitterbox in Ibiza.
The best.
And it's just one of those tunes. Everyone knows the words to this. Everyone knows the tune, and it's so sing-along and it's so joyful.
We're going to get into track number 4 now. Obsessed, Sylvester, Mighty Real. Pretty significant disco tune, this.
I mean, it's the disco tune, in my opinion. When this came out in the 70s, Sylvester being a gender non-conforming person, I mean, mainstream people in America especially had never really seen anyone like this. So I think it's really important to put this one in because of how special Sylvester was.
Yeah.
And I think also disco, just to put an original disco tune is important in this playlist because it's sort of the original dance music, and mainstream American radio actually created disco demolition, which is when they literally burn piles and piles of disco records because they were made by queer people and people of colour.
No.
And that wasn't that long ago.
No.
Several decades ago.
It's
so
crazy.
It's amazing to think about how far we've come as queer people and also how far there is to go globally.
Jodie, we've heard your first 4 tunes. Amazing choices, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Before we get into the next ones, I just want to talk about kind of like the queer music scene in the UK and particularly in London over the years. You've been like a staple amongst it all, and you've also run some incredible nights as well. Can you kind of tell us a few highlights about that and kind of what's the difference between sort of the queer club scene in London now than back then? Is there much of a difference?
I think there is. It was a lot bigger when I remember it being bigger when I was young. I started going to clubs when I was 15 with fake ID. I remember walking into a club called the London Astoria, which is where Tottenham Court Road tube station is. And they knocked it down for the Lizzie line. And it was for GAY. And I remember walking in and just thinking, oh my God, I'm home. This is like, there's literally thousands of people that are like me in this room. And I really felt accepted and part of a community. The second I walked through those doors, it was amazing. And gradually the clubs got smaller and smaller, and I'd go to Trade, the after hours club. I went to Heaven when it was still before it became GAY, and gradually the clubs would become smaller and smaller. And then during the credit crunch, they shrunk even more as there was just less money to spend on going out. And then Of course, the pandemic, a lot of stuff closed down. But there are much less queer venues around now, but there are really exciting pockets of queer things happening.
Yeah, I feel like there's no specific venues,
Exactly.
really. It's like,
Exactly. And I still think the queer scene is thriving, especially in London. I mean, you could go to Adonis and there's like 3,500 people. It's incredible. Feel it every Friday.
Yeah. I mean, yours is up there for.
It's pumping every Friday, and so if you know where to look, and looking for the right place to go is all part of the fun. If you know where to look, there's some really exciting things going on. Great music emerges from the queer scene, and I think it's very important to nourish the clubs that are still happening and to support them because it's important.
Yeah.
Queer club culture is very important.
Jodie Harsh, your fifth pick is Troye Sivan, Rush, Punctual on the remix. You are supporting Troye on his tour right now.
Yeah, I've just flown into London just to hang out with you for the day. Then I'm back out on tour.
Do you play this before, in the sets prior, or is it a big favourite of yours?
I haven't been playing it before Troye comes on because I just think it's a bit disrespectful, isn't it?
Rule number one, Charlie, don't play tunes of the person you're supporting. I should know that.
But I love the tune. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, I love it so much. I love that chant.
Yeah.
And it's about Rush.
It's about Rush.
It's about Rush.
It's about Rush. Shall we get into it?
If you know, you know.
Your next pick is from the icon, the legend, Honey Dijon, taken from a new album, Black Girl Magic, not new. It's not new anymore, is it? 2022. Time flies. It's called Work.
Yeah.
Why have you chosen this tune?
Well, we love Honey, obviously, and she's really flying the flag for house music's true culture on a global scale, really like no one else is. I mean, she even worked on that amazing Beyonce album. I mean, no one's doing it quite like Honey.
Of course.
And it's just a great tune. I love the percussion, I love the bass line and sort of brassy stabs that come in, and it's just a banger.
Aside from the club nights, which we have touched on, what's kind of been some of your highlights to date in the journey of Jodie Harsh so far?
Definitely playing on some of the stages that I used to go to as a punter. Back in the day, I remember going to Glastonbury Festival when I was really young. And last year I played at Glastonbury and Creamfields, to be on that main stage of Creamfields, playing with these amazing artists like that who I've bought their records. It's just, and Ibiza. I remember going to Pasha in Ibiza when I was 18 years old, and I've done a load of Pasha gigs this summer. It's just amazing to be on the stages that I've always wanted to be on, and that's so fun.
Your next pick is the Blessed Madonna, Shades of Love. I like to call her the rave mother.
Oh, mother and daddy.
I know. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why is this one on your list?
Blessed Madonna is just one of my favourite artists. Like, the music that she puts out is so good. She doesn't miss. All positive, happy songs. And I love that the artists that she works with that do vocals for her. And this is just a really feel-good record. And again, it's another positive message about inclusivity and being yourself.
Your next pick is Gallo, Miss Honey. Brand new, this one. Well, fairly new, couple of weeks. It's going to definitely fire up crowds everywhere this summer season.
Yeah.
Iconic sample as well.
Yeah.
Why has this tune made it on your list?
A friend of mine who does fitness classes sent this to me the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I need this for my sets. Thank you so much. Like when friends ping you tunes.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this one hadn't been on my radar, but it definitely is now. And so I just started playing it over the last few weeks in shows, and it is going off. The sample, Miss Honey, is this drag queen from the early 90s in New York called Moi Renee. I believe was her name. And she was sort of like in that early RuPaul era, just banging out a few house tunes and part of the ballroom scene. And and she's been sampled quite a lot.
Yeah, it's iconic. It grabs you in straight away.
Yeah. Actually, when you go and see Honey Dijon play, she'll often drop in a bit of an a cappella of this same vocal. So yeah, it's been used a bit, but this is the new one that's just come out, and it's by Gallo, and it's great, and it slaps in the club.
Jodie Harsh, your next pick today is Duke Dumont Runway, the ZDS remix. There's been a couple of versions of this, right?
Probably loads flying around. It's another one of those really iconic ballroom vocals that's been sampled and sampled and sampled over the years. But the source of it is that New York downtown voguing, where voguing started and where all the kids on the piers was kind of dance all night and enter competitions and battle against each other for who's the best dancer. And that's really where New York house music is that's its roots, really. Yeah. And if you haven't seen it, there's an amazing documentary about this called Paris is Burning, which is really worth checking out. It sort of follows a year in the life of these downtown voguers and queens and music makers and MCs, and it's
amazing.
Absolutely incredible.
Paris is Burning.
Paris is Burning.
I've just typed that down. I'm going to be watching that tonight. Saturday night plan sorted.
You will love it.
What does pride mean to you?
It truly does mean everything to me because it is at the root of my very soul. I am proud to be who I am, and it's about representing that for other people and hoping that they feel the same way or can learn to feel the same way and that they feel accepted. And it's about celebrating how far we've come because let's not forget, several decades ago, it was a very different place.
It was,
like 2 decades ago, you couldn't even say the word gay in a classroom at school.
Is it like 30? I think it was 36 years ago. It was still classed as a mental disorder being gay. So
right, there we go. So we've come a really long way
in a short space of time.
But there's definitely still progress to be made, and I don't even need to list all the reasons why because we hear about it and stuff. But queer people are not equal globally, and it's important to try to get to the stage where they are, and so that is what Pride Month is all about. But as I said, it's also about celebrating how far we have got, and that could be parties, and that could be celebrations with friends and being together as a community, and the word community is very, very important here. So it's a positive thing, and it also represents how far we still have to go. And it's also a moment to sort of the word educate's wrong, but help people understand who aren't queer and who can be allies, and help queer people on their journey as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jodie Harsh, we've got a final pick for you now. Supermode.
Yeah.
Tell Me Why. Steve Angelo and Axwell.
Yeah. Great tune, Jimmy Somerville sample. I love his haunting vocal. I remember the original tune, seeing that music video, and he sort of sat on a train escaping his childhood home, like heading to the bright lights of the big city as a queer person, and which is kind of what we're talking about today, right?
Absolutely.
Sort of like what's in my book, actually. Funnily, I should say that.
What's the name of your book again?
You had to be there. The link is in my bio for free soaps.
There we go.
Funny that.
Get the book.
But they sampled, and which is so random that they sampled this vocal, but I absolutely love it. They're so blokey, those two, aren't they? But yeah, it's a great tune.
Iconic tune.
Yeah, and it's a song about not fitting in and wanting to and just being different. So
yeah,
I love the original song.
Yeah, totally. And before we get it on, where can we see you this summer? Have we got any more music en route? Tell us as much as you can tell us. Yeah, I'm in the studio finishing some more tunes, so maybe something at the end of the summer, probably more likely in the autumn. Joy's doing its bits at the moment. Yeah. I hear it on the radio all the time. Thank you very much. We love it.
Thank you. I remember the day it came out and hearing it on this show, so I was very excited about that. When you hear a tune on the radio for the first time, it's like, it's real.
I bet. It's such a banger, so feel good. Like
Summer of Joy.
Yeah.
Loads of shows, loads of Ibiza. Finishing off the Choice of Untold, we've got the UK still to come, and some festivals and loads of fun to come.
Amazing.
I feel like summer's just beginning, right?
Yeah. We ain't ready for Jodie Harsh this summer. Summer of Joy en route. Jodie Harsh, thank you so much for joining me today on Capital Dance to celebrate Pride Month. Your picks have been absolutely incredible. It's been so much fun. Have you enjoyed yourself?
I've had the best time. Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. Please come back soon.
Absolutely.